One of the most important things to look at when you're interviewing a TPA, retirement plan consultant, or just all your various service providers is what are you actually paying for the cost of administration? And there's this thing in the industry called revenue sharing when you're working with a record keeping custodian that has insurance products or handles the 401k record keeping. And that revenue sharing could either increase the cost of the plan significantly, or it could drive down the cost of the plan considerably if the TPA offsets. So when you're comparing fee quotes, what you want to do is you want to take kind of an estimate on what you think base fees plus per participant fees are going to come out to be. A plus B equals C. That's a very easy calculation. But then you need to look for this little asterisk at the bottom of the page, which says we either keep revenue sharing or we offset your revenue sharing. And these disclosures are required under Section 408B2. So here at my firm, we offset 100% of all revenue sharing payments that we receive from the record keeper, unless we're going to be a 316 or somebody out of state is selling the plan. So a lot of time those payments can be used to pay sales reps commissions and motivate them to go out and hunt down new business, or it can be used to subsidize somebody else's lower base fee that the client actually thought that they were paying. So after you get into the calculations and run a plan invoice to kind of show, hey, you've got a $2 million plan here, 5 basis points are coming out of the plan, which is, it's called a $1,000 payment to the TPA. If the TPA is charging you $2,500 and pocketing that revenue sharing payment, well, congratulations, you just paid them $3,500 for something that would cost you $2,500 if the TPA were to offset those costs. So it's a very important conversation when you look at plans that have considerable assets because those payments are much higher. And then, a lot of times here at my firm, let's say we take over a $20, $30 million plan or continue to administer a $20 or $30 million plan. Those payments are so high that I can't touch them with our actual invoicing because the per participant cost isn't high enough to justify me taking all that money in. So at that point, I'm also going to go in and help the client out by paying for their 401k audit or any other costs that come up, throughout the course of the plan. If at the end of the day, we can't deplete that money and get it back to either, the service providers or use it internally for costs, we're going to refund it back to the plan or request that the record keeper ultimately turn those payments off. So when you look for an apples to apples comparison, don't be fooled by a quote that just shows, hey, I'm 50% cheaper than the prior TPA. Look for that asterisk and see what they're actually receiving for indirect compensation and see what they're doing with it.